everyone. It's Norman Kochnick here from Extra Time. And I've been joined by some illustrious gentlemen. Namely, I'll start from the bottom this time. Naresh, you're here with your lovely long hair and moustache. It's growing longer by the minute. You look fantastic.
Yeah, Norman, hello. I'm good. Good evening to you, Norman. Thanks for having me again. Thank you.
Of course. And the VJ Lokapali, I thought you were going to wear Mumbai Indians shirt. Now that you've missed the opportunity, you could have worn that. They won. How are you?
Fine.
And last but not least, Jabasa Sen, who doesn't go to sleep. He has toothpicks in his eyes all night, like I do. We're here to talk about a game that has been basically lost by KKR. They had the game to win. They were in a position at certain stages of the match. They were cruising, weren't they? And they effectively imploded in the last few overs. It was quite disappointing. I'm actually very disappointed with KKR's performance in the end, considering where they were at. And the very fact that Mumbai Indians have won the match by some 10 runs after scoring what I would call a paltry 152, and should have been an easy get for KKR, but unfortunately they were rolled for one. Well, they couldn't get more than 142, which is a rather sad end of the game. Still very close, still very exciting. Trent Bolt's last over was great. Bumrah bowled well. There was some drop catches. Andre Russell should have been out much earlier, but he seemed to keep getting dropped, but even that wasn't good enough. All right. I'm going to turn to Naresh here and get your commentary. First of all, who did you think was going to win before the game started?
Before the game started, definitely it was Mumbai Indians, purely because of the dominance they've had in this, rivalry. 21-6 they lead in the 27 games they played each other. From that perspective, Mumbai started favourites. Quinton de Kock was to come back in place of Chris Lynn. Mumbai always lose the first game and then they start getting back into the league. So all that went in favour of Mumbai. But yes, as Rohit said in the previous game and today also on the toss, that 20 runs more he wanted to the last total, but actually they got less than that. At halfway stage, Kolkata were favourites.
Absolutely. But you thought that your thoughts were Mumbai Indians before the match they would win.
Yeah.
That was your impression. Okay.
Yes,
All right. I'm obviously a KKR fan, but I would have thought they would. Anyway, Vijay, are you disappointed with KKR's performance?
I think disappointment is not the word, because I'm not a KKR supporter really, but this was the game for them. I mean, they had the game, and it's very unfair in a team game to blame one individual. But I thought the ridiculous shot by Nitish Rana cost them the match. You can argue that there was others also, Dinesh Karthik and Andre Russell. They should have finished the game, but Rana gave just that little escape route for Mumbai Indians, and they grabbed it. Full credit to Chahar, Kronlal Pandya, and then of course the great over by Trent Bolt. Because whatever you say, it was tough, considering the fact that Russell could have taken the game away, but it was not KKR's day. Full marks to Mumbai Indians for the manner in which they came back. But this one shot will haunt Nitish Rana for a long time.
Yeah, it's along with Shakib Al Hussein's shot as well wasn't exactly great either. That's true. But then again, as I think Naresh was talking about, the fact is that Mumbai Indians have defended some low totals throughout their time, haven't they? They've been quite capable of defending low totals, so that's probably part of it. With bowlers like Trent Bolt and Bumrah, you're going to have a great death bowling at all times. Debashis, what's your thoughts?
I think this loss will definitely hurt the Knight Riders, because if you look at the format of IPL, you need 8 wins in order to guarantee a place in the playoffs. So had KKR won the match today, they would have won 2 out of 2. So it would have been a great start to the season. But now that they have lost this match, I think you say that winning is a habit. So this might hurt them big time because they had the match in their grip, 104 for 3 in 12.5 overs, and then to not finish the line is, I think it will really hurt them big time.
Yeah, I think it's certainly cricket's about a mental game, isn't it? And if you have such a game where you should have won, it does take a lot of the sap out of you, doesn't it? It's very hard to gather your thoughts, especially in such short time frames. When the KKR play again, they only play in a handful of days, don't they? So it's not very much time. That's the other factor. These teams are playing game after game after game quite regularly. It must take its effects both physically and mentally. All right. What about? I mean, let's give some credit though to the batting. There was some good batting in the efforts. I certainly thought that Sky Yadav was particularly good with his 56. He looked quite magnificent. Rohit Sharma's getting to these 40s yet again, and got out to a ball from Cummins, which was a good ball. You would argue. Oh no, it wasn't. It was actually a play on. Does he get a bit lazy sometimes, Sharma, when he's batting? What's your thoughts, guys?
Should I go first?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So Rohit Sharma, if you see both the matches had a similar trend. Mumbai was losing at least a wicket in the power play, and then the second wicket partnership was always good with a healthy run rate up to the 10th, 11th, and then they lost the way by losing quick wickets. So I think Rohit Sharma came out with a plan that he would want to bat deep, and the rest can rotate around him. And the partnership with Surya Kumar was very successful. Whereas in the first game, it was Surya Kumar and Chris Lynn partnership for the second wicket. But you take the entire comparison to the last season, it was a similar situation for Mumbai Indians. They kept losing a wicket or two in the power play, go up to the 10th, 11th, lose a couple of quick wickets, and then the finishers were there. Those finishers have missed out in these two games. They have failed. Ishan Kishan, Hardik Pandya, Kieron Pollard have failed. And that's where you felt the pressure on Rohit Sharma, and then he could not step up. He wanted to set in and step up later. But Pat Cummins, a good slow one. And in both the innings, the game changed after the 13th, 14th overs. Similar thing happened against RCB. It's just that RCB got that one extra run of the last ball.
That's a good point. I know you're not going to agree with me. VJ is going to say to me, no, that's not right. But I wish they left Chris Lynn in the scene and didn't have Quinton de Kock. Chris Lynn got, 49 last time. De Kock got 2. And we can't be that hard on de Kock. But, they've won the match, yes, but I would love to have seen Chris Lynn. I want to see Chris Lynn play more. I think he's box office. I really do think that he needs to be, in the side. I'm a bit frustrated with that. I know I'm Australian. It's part of the reason. I know I've known Chris Lynn since he was a kid. He went on several cricket tours with me. I'm biased. You might think that. But he's the goods. What's your thoughts? Honestly, Vijay.
Yes, I mean, but then he's still got 14 games to go. I mean, it's not that he won't get another opportunity. But I think I would rather talk about the manner in which KKR gave the game away. I mean, it showed a very unprofessional approach, and like Devasi said, it's going to hurt them big because as the tournament progresses, the other teams also will tend to improve. Here was a chance to score a win against Mumbai Indians. It's probably the most consistent team in the history of the league, other than Chennai Super Kings. And a win tonight would have meant so much to the confidence of the team. I mean, I'm at loss of words. I mean, how can a professional team give away such a platform? And from 72 for 1, they imploded, like you said in the beginning, Norman. There's no other way to describe KKR's performance tonight. But of course, it will be unfair and it will look very biased if we don't give credit to the manner in which Mumbai Indians fought back through Chahar. Chahar was exceptional tonight. I mean, he's shown that he is. We can look at him as playing a bigger role in Indian team, and this was the stage for him to show it. He did it, and Rohit led with I mean, he led the team very well. He never let the game, never let the pressure ease. It was not easy to defend 153. And I think in the beginning, remember, Norman, we thought we are in for some exciting cricket. We did get
Yeah.
to see exciting cricket, but probably the team we should have won lost.
You're right. And Shahar took the first 4 wickets in the innings. Significant batters, both who were in and those that should have been in. Just a point about Owen Morgan. Great captain, I've got no doubts. In his own batting form, something's not right there. He's not getting any runs. Is he forgetting about his batting and thinking more about captaincy? Naresh.
I think, Morgan has struggled in the entire white ball series, even against India. And I think that is getting carried forward in this IPL. But as a captain, undoubtedly, he's a brilliant captain. Whether it would have been Quinton de Kock or Chris Lynn to open, he would have gone with the spinners in the power play that he did today. So he is very clear on his priorities of how he wants to go against the defending champions. But yes, he himself not scoring is a matter of concern. But as Vijay sir said, I think Nitish Rana was a turning point. He threw his wicket there. Shakibul Hasan threw his wicket. I think this could have been a real good, easy win for KKR, especially against a defending champion who has been dominating them in the entire IPL.
And we said that earlier on as well, didn't we, Vijay? We said that in the preview, that we thought that this was the moment when KKR could take an advantage of perhaps a somewhat below strength or below mental strength Mumbai, a bit on the rusty side. This was KK's opportunity to kickstart, get 2 wins and move on to many more and potentially seal a place in the top 4. I know it's early. Vijay will tell me it's early, but I fear that they're not going to make the top 4. I think they could be periphery, 5th, 6th, but I think they may be missing on the opportunity to be in the top 4. But Mumbai Indians, as always, they know how to win these games, don't they? They really do. They have this mental, almost a confidence to say, oh, we've got Trent Bolt, we've got Bumrah, we've got Chahar, we can get there. Yes, Devashish.
Yeah, I would just like to add on the captaincy issue. Obviously, we saw 2 best tactician of the game in this format. Obviously, with Morgan starting with the spin and then placing Prasidh Krishna at fine leg just for a short ball, but bringing in Pat Cummins and then Rohit Sharma getting Kieron Pollard at silly point when Andrew Russell was batting. So these are small things that go a long way. Obviously, we know that Rohit Sharma is a very successful captain in this one. Morgan also is a successful captain in white ball format. He just transformed English cricket in recent times as far as white ball cricket is concerned. So we saw 2 great captains on display in this match. But in the end, it means it's the Mumbai Indians, because as you time and again say that it's a team of champions. It's not, and it's a champion team, which was evident that taking the match out from the grasp of KKR. So I think first match also they could have easily won against RCB, but then they came back strongly, and who knows? But then again, I would like to point out about KKR is that they are themselves to blame for losing this match.
No doubt at all. I mean, we talk about captains. Obviously, Rohit Sharma's captain well, but he had Kieron Pollard in his back pocket. He would have also had a major discussion about Russell and about his failure or failings when the person is in close. It actually is pretty well known, I think, in the West Indian camp about the likes of Russell not liking someone in close, and his desire to get rid of the person in close by playing a big shot, which leads to a false shot. It's quite a clever move. Russell is intimidated somewhat, but likes to intimidate back, hence the fielding position. Very, very clever move. Although, Naresh, would you field at silly mid off or silly mid anything to either Pollard or a person like Russell? I wouldn't.
Yeah, and see, both Pollard and Russell are similar characters of cricketers. They like to attack. They like to be attacked so that they can counter attack. And Krunal Pandya has a knack of bowling quicker ones. But when Rohit Sharma wanted to keep a silly point, Krunal Pandya was holding it a bit. He wasn't bowling through the line. He was holding it a bit, and Russell was finding it difficult. And he even dropped a cotton ball chance. So, and that's very typical. And that's why Pollard has also struggled in these two games. The ball is not coming on. After the 14th, 15th over, when the ball is little old, it's really slowing down. And the Mumbai batsmen have also struggled in both these games. So it's going to be very interesting in the remaining 3 games Mumbai has still to play in Chennai.
Absolutely. I mean, Chennai Super Kings must be sitting there in their hotel rooms, throwing down books, going, "Damn it, that's my home pitch. I can't play on it. How unfair is that?"
Yeah.
I'm sure they are. I would be. It must be so frustrating for CSK. That's their home ground. They can't even visit it, I don't think. Incredible. How would you feel, Vijay, if your home ground was taken away from you for an entire tournament?
But you're not the only one to have lost your home ground. I mean, every team has lost the home ground, so it's
True.
part of the. It's been forced upon them because of the pandemic and whatever it was decided that no team will have home advantage because there are no spectators. So if you're playing a closed door, so it doesn't really matter because Norman, these days they're playing so much of cricket. I don't really think that if you're not playing at home, what happened? I mean, UAE was not your home. You still went and played all the games there. So I will not give much importance to this thing about playing on home pitches. But Naresh made a beautiful point about the ball not coming on because if all these stroke players, they want the ball to come on, and in fact, if had it been coming on nicely, Shakib wouldn't have mistimed that shot because he is a beautiful striker of the ball. But having said that, you have to make adjustments. If you are a good batsman, if you are a professional cricketer, you know how to get your runs on, how to adapt to the challenges of the pitches. Unfortunately, whether Pollard or Russell or Shakibul Hasan, they failed to read the pitch properly, and they could have. I mean, there are some shots you can play even when the ball is not coming on. I'm not the one to advise them, but tonight, they didn't really play the shots that deserve to be played on such a surface.
No, granted, absolutely granted. But I do like the theatre of seeing Dhoni and Raina throwing their magazines in the room. I do like the theatre of that. It would be nice to see them getting upset about their ground upping. Of course, that's more in jest. But I do get, of course, all teams do not have a home ground advantage. But I do think some teams feel that more than others. And I think the Chennai's ground is an example of that. Now Tabashas, where to from here with KKR? Do you think they're going to learn from this, or they're going to be scarred?
No, as Vijay said, all means has been saying time and again that it's too early days, but then these are the close matches that you need to win to have that confidence going for a tournament like the IPL, because you know that you require just eight matches to win. Means means if you win 8 matches, that's a magic number. If you go on to 16 points, you are almost guaranteed of a place in the playoffs. I think these losses, this close, if you lose these close matches, you are putting yourselves under immense pressure. Then you end up maybe winning your last. You need to win your last few matches. Um, so I think KKR are putting pressure on themselves, but then time to look at few combinations, I would say, after this loss. Obviously, I totally agree with Naresh and Vijay sir, is that the ball stopping and coming. It's because Mumbai Indians, as you might see, is that stacked with a lot of stroke players, and it has got nothing to do with the KKR bowlers. In fact, Mumbai Indians batsman has to be blamed because they played too many shots because the ball was stopping and coming, and that led to their downfall. So, in fact, they lost 37 wickets for 38 runs. And if you can look back at KKR innings as well, that same thing happened because the ball was stopping and coming, and that was making life difficult for the batsmen, the stroke players, I would say.
And Norman, I want to add to
He bowled
Devashish
particularly
is
well, didn't he? He bowled well.
Yeah, this is going to be a test of Ian Morgan. He's going to lead the entire season. He took the captainship halfway through last season. So I think how he's going to manage this team off the game, after the game today, that's going to be a real test because he needs to get them back to ensure that they do well and win the next game. They shouldn't be taking this loss so badly that their game suffers going ahead.
Absolutely. Morgan plays a pivotal role to the captaincy of this team and bringing the force, and he's more than capable of doing so, as we've seen.
Yeah.
And it's funny, even the way England played throughout the summer, or sorry, the previous series, there were a number of matches that they lost, but they came back the next game. They had this uncanny knack of coming back the game after a loss, even though India prevailed. It was a very seesawing effort, wasn't it, in that tournament? All right. Vijay, your thoughts. Okay, we've talked about a number of aspects of the play. I know it's too early to surmise too far, but Mumbai Indians, were you happy with their performance?
I mean, no one would complain about the performance for the simple reason that they ended up winners tonight. Had they lost, you could have found out so many flaws. I mean, there were flaws, no doubt, but the more I watch Surya Kumar Yadav, the more I become a bigger fan of his. I mean, he is an outstanding cricketer. Today, if you see on the same pitch where the ball was stopping, look at the strokes he played. So obviously, timing, he was able to adjust, and that's the sign of hallmark of a fine batsman, and that's what he is. He came and took the attack into the rival camp with his all-round strokes. That's the best thing about Surya Kumar Yadav. He doesn't believe in playing under pressure, as does Rohit Sharma. But watching these two together is a very what should I say, very fascinating sight on the cricket field. But I would want Hardik Pandya to come good with the bat, and we'll have to see if he begins to bowl, because his bowling is going to prove crucial if for Mumbai Indians to strike a balance. And obviously, he's nursing a niggle because he's not the bowler which we have seen him. Also, he looks hampered when he's batting. But Krunal Pandya has turned out to be an asset for Mumbai Indians. He seems to be improving with every game. So I don't think I have many complaints against Mumbai Indians. They've come back strongly, and now the other teams must be cursing KKR for having allowed Mumbai Indians to escape tonight. So it's going to be tough for them.
Absolutely. That's a very good point. It's KKR would be very disappointed, but a number of other sides, probably more so Delhi Capitals than I would have liked to have seen Mumbai Indians lose to that. Yeah. Now, in terms of practice for a match, centre wicket practice or net practice that the teams go through, they actually do practice on balls that are stopping. They have a method to their ball deliveries that stop. They actually do practice that. So the fact that the teams are not handling balls that are not coming through is something they can practice. So I'm losing the excuses, the ball stopped, they didn't play accordingly. As you said, Sky adjusted very, very well. You would argue on many occasions, even Rohit Sharma, when he bats, adjusts very well. It's a matter, and even Kohli, that these sort of players know how to adjust to this sort of delivery. And it's not an excuse really to say, the ball stopped on me. We'll be ready for it. Judge the game as it stands and play accordingly. And I think, as you said, it's a mark of a good batsman that can actually judge the conditions and bat appropriately. Naresh, in your batting day, were you somebody who could adjust, or were you playing the same shot?
I am born and brought up, played a lot of cricket in Mumbai, and Mumbai has these kind of pitches where the ball will always keep low and skid through, and the dust would fly off. So you need to adjust immediately. But the modern day cricket, especially T20, there is so much of talk around the strike rate, and that is what is adding pressure on these batsmen, that if they play a dot ball, someone is watching them that he's not done well. That needs to go off, and that is what Surya Kumar Yadav is bringing on. If he bats deep, and if you remember the last season, the second game against RCB, which he alone chased, that was just one day after the squad was announced for Australia, he did say that my role is to bat deep. In both these matches, he came in at number 3, played up to the 10th, 11th over and got out. if he goes on till the 17th, 18th, you will see a very different scorecard for Mumbai Indians, because others will have to bat around him because they are naturally hitters like Hardik Pandya, Kieron Pollard. So Surya Kumar will have to do further adjustments. He is in that form to deliver for Mumbai. Other batsmen are still struggling to settle down in this Chennai pitch, especially.
Very good observation. Very good observation. Debashis. Oh, sorry, Vijay.
I just wanted to add to Naresh, that this thing about strike rate, when you walk in, do you worry about the strike rate? You worry about the next ball which is going to come. You might end up playing a dot ball, fair enough, but you play the dot ball because you are not prepared to hit it. So, would you, after playing a dot ball, are you going to worry about somebody noting down your strike rate and try and play something which doesn't come to you naturally?
Yeah, and especially Rohit today, if you go to see, it was a very important inning. Yes, he was slow compared to the Rohit we know. But, if Mumbai would have lost today, there would have been talks that Rohit could have been faster. Hardik Pandya is struggling. He's not been able to hit the sixes he's known for, But it is the situation of the game. Rohit played as per situation. He went with the mindset he wanted to play long and deep.
Absolutely.
Okay, Raj, I think it's Simpson. I can't say. Russell is confused, in a confused state. He must go for his strength from go one. I think that's the case. He needs to be free. He needs not to think too much, because I'm afraid when Russell thinks things don't go quite that well, he's not the best of form anyway. But his natural hitting instincts, and even the ball that he hit up in the air, he didn't really play through the shot. So you're right, that's very true. I agree with that fan comment. Very, very good indeed. They're relying heavily on Russell, aren't they? There's certainly an appearance that they're relying on Russell very, very heavily. Now, he may have delivered in the past, but I don't think he's quite there at the moment. They're going to have to address that throughout this tournament as well. Any other comments from you, Debashis? You've been very quiet today.
There have been a lot of comments about Russell and Dinesh Karthik's batting, especially from the KKR fans. Obviously, both these experienced cricketers have got a lot to do, because the batting relies on these two experienced cricketers. If you look at the KKR batting, but then Dinesh Karthik, then if I could just show a message that has I'm just showing it now. This is one of those messages. Dinesh Karthik and Russell played great test knock. So these are sort of messages that I'm getting.
But let's just take a step back, though. Karthik and Russell, they didn't play well, but Owen Morgan and Shakib Al Hussain have roles to play too. They both failed, which put even more pressure onto Karthik and the likes of Russell. So I don't necessarily want to centre on them for the moment. If even Tripathi, Morgan, and Al Hussain, they basically had their roles to play, and none of those three did. So it spiraled very, very quickly. And I think, Vijay, you said earlier, the Nitish Rayner, the way he got out, he could have probably not done that as well. He got himself to a very good position. 50 odds is not good enough. If they really want to win these games, they need to get a good 90 to 100, as did Samson, despite losing. You've got to actually really stamp your authority. Teams, if they're in command, should be 1 or 2 wickets down at the end of the play, shouldn't they? That's the stamp of command. The likes of a Josh Butler or Ben Stokes, who, of course, we've found out today, breaking news, has broken his finger and is out of the entire series, which is a huge loss to the Rajasthan Royals, I would argue. But you do need a Butler or Stokes or even a Jason Roy, who tend to take the game by the scruff of the net and are 2 down when they get the score, when they get the 150. And I think that's something that we need to be aware of. But yes, Ben Stokes. Naresh, were you aware of the Ben Stokes?
Oh yes, the catch which he took yesterday, it seemed that it was the little finger injury, but the way it's come out, it's probably the entire arm is having that stress. So yeah, as of now, it says that he's been ruled out.
Yeah, certainly. I think Well, you don't want to put a pencil through Rajasthan Royals, but it's going to be very hard for them to. They needed a person like Ben Stokes in their side, and they're going to find it a little bit hard. They're already finding it hard. They'll be finding it even more.
Yeah, I think Archer would be back soon. They can get Butler up and get David Miller in. I think they still have a good bench strength, and it's just they've just played one game, so I think they need to look ahead.
Although Archer's the report that came out of the ECB about Archer was he's going to the next stage, but there was no indication as to when he'd come back though.
He will resume training soon. That is what the statement says.
But resuming training and being ready to play are two different things.
Yeah. The statement also mentioned that they're going to take the next move, depending upon how he progresses during the training. Means whether he comes, it is not too sure whether he's going to come, when he's going to come and join the Rajasthan Royals squad. But then, if he does resumes training, that one would assume that he might join the RR squad very soon.
Well, I would be. I also think it's a bit early for him. I think it's a bit early to be saying very soon. I think there's a lot. The elbow that he has, in particular, is a chronic elbow injury. He also has the hand after surgery. It's going to be interesting how much those both injuries recover properly, even though he's going along well at the moment. All right, Vijay. Now, I'm surmising too much. I agree with you. Oh, it's good. We've got the close camera shot. I like this close camera shot. We get more intimate when we talk this way. Vijay, I'm delving into your heart now. Do you think Mumbai Indians are going to win the competition?
It's true. Given the character of this team, I won't be surprised if they go on to win the tournament. But my team is to win the title is Delhi Capitals. They're far more what should I say, talented, and it's a very compact team with absolutely a flawless, I must say, a combination. Delhi Capitals will be the team to beat, and if Pant plays crucial innings in crucial games, then nobody's going to stop Delhi Capitals, because if you can't stop Pant, you can't stop Delhi Capitals. But yes, there are other teams also. Please don't rule out Hyderabad. Again, a lethal combination. They've got probably one of the best attacks in the tournament. And then Chennai Super Kings with somebody like Dhoni at the helm. It won't be easy to forget. But yes, if you have to pick, earlier we have talked about this. My finalists will be Mumbai Indians and Delhi Capitals.
I agree, very much so. And we talk about a game like today. Had a Rishabh Pant been in the games today, chasing that total, batting in that situation, I'm sure he would have taken it differently. He would have taken it by the scruff of his neck, finished the game relatively early with less wickets down.
Norman, if you are a good cricketer, you don't score a 50 and go out. You finish the game.
Exactly.
You finished the game. I mean, you have batted there for 50 runs, and you have been in a position, you batted more than your colleagues. Now, the new man will take time. You don't even know whether he'll be connecting properly, and you have a measure of the pitch so well. So that is why I'm repeatedly saying Nitish Rana should have finished the game, and it would have been meant so much to his reputation, and it would have meant so much to his team tonight.
I'm sure if Naresh was in that position on 57 not out, he would have went on and been out at the death. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and Norman, yes, Nitish Rana especially, he's a very talented left-hander. He's been around for a while on the Indian domestic circuit.
Yeah. We're losing Naresh, I think.
So yeah, it would have been great for him to take it till the end against his old franchisee, but yeah, he lost that opportunity. But he's definitely a brilliant left-hander. He can really make things more and more difficult for the Indian selectors if he can get these finishes.
I mean, the same can be said about Gill. He was on 33. He looked the goods too. He was also. We're not talking about him. he should have, and now in his current levels of experience, having played at the highest level, an opportunity for him to also take in the game by the scruff of its neck and got really both of them should have went on and got close to the final score. I want to see sides in this competition lose 1 or 2 wickets when they pass score. I want them to show a stamp of dominance. That's where you'll set yourself apart. And I think Delhi Capitals are the ones that can do that with punts. Very much so. All right, Debashis, you're looking. I know when you're not concentrating.
I'm just looking. I'm just looking at the questions because I don't have anyone at the background. So I'm just trying to bring out any relevant questions that are here by the fans, because someone says that interaction with audience will be appreciated because discussing within yourself is become fair enough, because people watching out at this point of time, they also means this is for the fans, so if you allow me, I can take a few
Absolutely.
questions. Thank you, Norman. I'll just take a few questions.
That's what I was alluding to.
Yeah. Avi Ricky, he has a question to everyone. Nitish being stupid, Owen being clueless again, Shakib is a good for nothing oldie now. Shakib must be replaced and Dinesh should come up.
Well, that's one very angry KKR supporter, I think, perhaps. I think that's a bit harsh, to say the least. What do you guys think?
He's obviously very angry, and he wants Shakib out for the shot he has played, and obviously he's very angry, and rightly too. If for a fan, I mean, you and I can be composed when we take a look at the game, but fans are very passionate, and that's what it is. So yeah, one good point he makes is Dinesh should come up, because Dinesh Karthik is one player who can finish the game. We have seen it in the past. Dinesh Karthik doing it on many occasions, and yeah, Shakib, I think I'll give him a couple of more chances, because he's not so bad that you should just just keep him out. I can understand the emotions of the angry fan, but I'm sure in a couple of games he'll be happy because KKR can come back.
And Shakib Al-Hussain is certainly a player to be reckoned with. He's very valuable. Is he still the number one all-rounder in the world? He must be up in the top 3 or 4 for sure still. He was in that position for quite a while, and it's quite a feat to be the best all-rounder in the world and not play one of the top sides. It's quite an effort. It's quite a feat indeed. All right, Naresh.
Yeah, and yeah, to be fair to even, he's coming after a long break. He wasn't even in the domestic circuit. So yeah, just 2 games old. I agree with Vijay sir. He should be given a couple of games more to prove his being in the side from the perspective that he should finish games. He's coming as an all-rounder. KKR struggled last season because of out of form Sunil Narayan. So that replacement is Shakib in the middle. They are settling with the openers. They wouldn't want to look back to change the opening pair, and that's why I agree with you. Shubman Gill also needs to play some good, valuable knocks along with Nitish Rana. At least KKR would have good starts, going ahead with the top 3 always giving them the contribution.
Well, in any textbook effort of a team to chase down a score, you want one of the top 3 batsmen to go on a score at 80 to 100 runs. Correct? That's your telltale sign of a side, and that's the way a game should be played out. You should aim for the top 3 batter to be out there at the end, having scored 80 to 100. That's the benchmark of a good side, and that's where I think Samson certainly proved that to me. Even though they lost, he proved that to me. If he can continue to do that, he will certainly show up to be very important. Read out the next one, Debashis.
Yeah, someone says that the short sum of the players played is not acceptable. What was needed was a cool head.
Absolutely. And they had plenty of cool heads. Owen Morgan, for example, is an extremely cool head. When he came in, I see that as very significant. Owen Morgan needs to stand up now as well. He hasn't batted well for some time. His captaincy's through the roof, but he needs to also lead by his batting.
I have someone who has come in support of Sakib. Sakib is one of the best all-rounder, I would say. Today was just not his day, but we all know what he is capable of.
Very good comment. Very good comment. I would agree. I like Shakib Al-Hussain. I think he's extremely important. He's also a very calming influence. He's very much a captaincy style figure as well in a side. But Rohit Sharma, we're not talking enough about Rohit Sharma. His captaincy certainly does impress. Yes, who have we got here?
Yeah, we have Sayan Pramanik. He wants to ask the panelist is one more thing. Do you need Harbhajan in the playing 11? Can we afford another proper batsman to strengthen the batting order of KKR?
I think if you see the first over which he bowled today was the Harbhajan we have known, right?
Yeah.
But then of course he gave away runs in the second over. That's another thing. But he started off well. He set a trend, which was very important. And 4 dot balls I remember in his first over, so not easy.
I'd keep him. I think he's worthy. His bowling can change a match. I'd like to see him bowl 4 overs though. He keeps bowling 1 or 2 overs. Why not bowl him if he's bowling one off? As I think you said too, Vijay, let him bowl the 4 overs.
Yes.
Yeah. And Harbhajan also has played long for Mumbai Indians. He has had some couple of good finishes. He's played as a finisher. And KKR won the previous game with this side. It's not going to be fair that they lose this game and start making changes. That would not reflect well on the leadership that you make changes because you lost to a defending champion. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I would like to draw on the fact is that we have just missed out discussing Rahul Chahar in this match. Obviously,
I was just about to say that. Damn it! You beat me to it.
You go ahead, Norman.
No. Go ahead.
Yeah, because when you have the likes of Piyush Chawla, Jayant Jadhav sitting in the dugout and to be performing, that speaks volumes. Means the way he has improved as a bowler in the recent times.
It is interesting how many bowlers are actually getting 4 and 5 wicket hauls. It's becoming a bit of a trend of the series so far. There's been quite a few that have taken 4 and 5 wicket hauls, and they're not necessarily the spinners either. So it's very interesting.
Norman, we have talked about Russell as a batsman, but not as a bowler. He got 5 wickets in this game, so he has contributed immensely. But then we want him to score those big runs, not just take wickets.
Yeah. And unlike Mumbai to give away 5ers to 2 bowlers in 2 matches, it's very unlike Mumbai.
Yes.
Actually, it's a great point. Andre Russell will watch this back when he goes back to his hotel room and will get he'll be shouting at the camera saying, I took 5 wickets and you're saying I'm not playing well. Exactly. You know why we didn't? Because when you look at the bowling list, his name's at the very bottom. He almost missed it. No. He took what? Now, I mean, he should be opening the bowling. He 2 overs, 5 for 15. That's pretty damn good figures. Isn't it?
Yeah, even if towards the end, but still they count.
But Norman Russell, you also need some runs from Russell. You obviously he's there for you as a more for his big hits, more for his the swashbuckling in knocks that we have witnessed when before the IPL travel to UAE. We knew 2019 what a performance was he had. So
okay. I'm gonna be.
I totally agree with everyone. Means you are all senior guys, but Russell as a bowler, I think KKR needs more Russell as a batsman if they are to succeed.
Okay, let's be cheeky for a moment. I think you brought something to highlight. Let's compare Rahul Chahar's statistics today on paper. Don't look at the game, and Andre Russell's statistics. Rahul Chahar was player of the match, correct? He took 4 for
27.
4 for 27, and he scored when he batted. He scored 8 runs. Andre Russell, who we're almost pushing out of the side, has taken 5 for 15 and actually scored 9 runs. So on a piece of paper, if I were to see that, I would say, gee, how did Rahul Chahar get player of the match when Andre Russell's statistics were better? I'm being flippant, but it's intriguing how that very stat shows one player getting the player of the match and the other were almost bagging out of the game. It's intriguing. Don't you agree? Naresh, what do you think of that? If you were to...
Yeah, and I agree with Devasys. 2019 is what the reputation Russell is carrying till date.
True.
Yeah, and that is what the role KKR has given him. And unfortunately, last year it was not only the form, it was also the fitness, which we didn't see the Russell we know. So
Yeah.
if he is 100% fit, he is expected to deliver, and that is what didn't happen today. And that fiver, to be honest, is a great achievement of fiver, but what was required was the finishing to the chase that failed. So the fiver actually was in vain. Rahul Chahar, because of Piyush Chawla in the side, he's under scanner. He had a very bad outing the first game, 43 of 4 overs without a wicket. But I think he's made a good comeback. Piyush Chawla, Jayant Yadav, two good spinners in the side. Piyush Chawla has played a lot of IPL, definitely. And he's played in Chennai a lot of matches. 6 years he played for KKR. So, yeah, I think Rahul Chahar did very well for himself today to
Absolutely.
not only get those wickets at vital moments. It was the moment that mattered most when he
Absolutely.
got Mumbai back into the game.
The top 4 rather than the bottom 4, correct. Jabas, you want to read the next one?
Yeah, absolutely. The next question is from Shubhajit Mukherjee. He wants to ask, what we saw today, can it be described as a total brain fail of the KKR batting lineup? Is it possible that the losing streak is hitting their minds every time? Is it becoming more of a mind defeat?
Very, very loaded statement. Very loaded statement. A lot to speak about there. Vijay, what do you think of that?
I think he has described it beautifully, brain fade. And it's a fact. It is weighing on their minds. They're not playing their natural game, and maybe they will have to look at tweaking the batting lineup. Why not? If it is not working, uh, Chahar, yes, he bowled brilliantly. Russell may have set up a match, but Chahar took it away with those 4 strikes and very crucial strikes. Getting Rana was probably the turning point. But yes, Mukherjee has said it beautifully. It's playing on their mind. It's mind game. If once they come out of it with a good batting performance, probably they will be able to recover and do better.
Naresh, anything to add?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. A slip and a silly point to Russell is complete mind game, of a spinner. So yes, it's very, very much an attacking approach by Rohit Sharma, and that's where when Rahul Chahar got Nitish Rana, they got that window of opportunity, and then the complete attack came back. And very good bowling changes. Even in the last game, we saw Bumrah, Trent Bolt, and Marco Jansen being kept for the death. It's just that last game, Trent Bolt went for 15 in the 19th over, which probably took away the game a bit, or the 18th over. But today, he kept Trent Bolt right till the end, and Bumrah did the job after Rahul Chahar got those breakthroughs. So I think it's a good team effort, a very good approach to the bowling changes. In between, he came to bowl himself. It looked quite funny that the first ball he came into bowl, he twisted his ankle. But yeah, he had it in mind that he wanted to stretch the game as much as he can.
Very true. Devassus?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Obviously, Mumbai the Indians did show that what it takes to be a champion team, and I think this is just a win that will motivate them, that will egg them on, because in a tournament like IPL, you need close wins like this, which adds to your confidence in the long run. And I would say this is perhaps the win that will help them. Perhaps this is just the beginning of a streak of wins for the Mumbai Indians. See, if you go on to add 4 5 wins, you are almost certain a guarantee of place in the playoffs. I think this is the win that needed, because after the loss against RCB, you needed a close win to get back their confidence.
Absolutely. And Mumbai Indians, the way in which they won this match, the very fact that they defended a relatively small total is indicative of their ability to play well in these tournaments. I'm going to have an eye forward in the last 5 or so minutes to the next game. And I think today's game we've talked about quite successfully, but we've got Sunrisers Hyderabad playing RCB, Royal Challengers Bangalore, again at Chennai. So the wicket will be perhaps not coming under the bat as much. What's your early thoughts about that game? RCB obviously looked particularly good in the first match, and Sunrise Hyderabad had a mixed game in their match. What's your thoughts about this match, guys? Naresh?
Well, RCB starts off with a win behind them, and Hyderabad lost their first game. Besto needs to come up, to be honest, along with Warner. If Warner didn't look in good touch, Besto was at number 4. And if same thing happened after Besto's wicket, Hyderabad lost away against KKR. So they need to sort that out. They need to get some bowling discipline. Unfortunately, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, he's good to start off fit, was a bit expensive. So Hyderabad would be looking for a win, a very good side, a good balanced side actually, but they need to just get the grip. Manish Pandey did get a 50, but probably there was too much asked from him, with others not supporting him till the end.
Before we go to VJ with commentary about Sunrise Hyderabad and RCB, what's the comment below?
Someone has asked you a question, Norman. I agree with Norman. If Harbhajan is bowling 4 overs in T20, you can go for 15 in an over, but still he is good enough to bowl 4 overs, so use him.
I totally agree. I don't quite understand having him bowl 1 or 2 overs. That seems a bit scratch your head stuff, to be honest. I need to let him bowl longer than that. Absolutely. Especially if he's bowling well. VJ, back to Sunrise Hyderabad RCB. Would you like to?
RCB.
Would you like to use my crystal ball, or you don't need it?
RCB, because you expect Kohli to be in his elements, and then of course AB de Villiers is there. With these two together, there's no better sight on cricket field than watching de Villiers at one end and Kohli at the other. So I'll back RCB to win the game.
Absolutely. Debasis?
I also agree with Vijay sir and Naresh. RCB are the favourites to win the match, but I would love to see a few changes in that Sunrisers side, especially with their foreigners. Obviously, with both Nabi and Rashid Khan playing, I would love to see a medium pacer, an all-rounder in that side. I may be wrong, but what do you say?
I think that's a fair point. I'm going to digress just for a moment here. The name Hyderabad obviously is named after the place Hyderabad, but Sunrisers, can someone explain that to me? It's not advertising, but what is the significance of the word Sunrisers? Can some learned colleague explain that? Vijay, I'm referring to you.
It has to do with the franchisee, obviously. Maybe, I don't know if it's something to do with the product. I've never really given a thought to it, because I am from Hyderabad, and it's a beautiful city. So we should.
I'm not knocking the city. I'm not knocking the city.
But I'll find out. It's very interesting. We must find out tomorrow.
Because Sunrisers, I think we had a brand in Australia. Sunrisers was orange juice. So am I to call Hyderabad the orange juice state? I'm not sure. I need to find this out. I expected that answer to roll off your tongue. I'm so disappointed. I expected you all to know that. Why should a mortal human here in Sydney, Australia, come out with that? Nobody knows. You've been calling them Sunrise Hyderabad for a while now, and you didn't know.
Yes.
My gosh, Debasis, I'm shocked. Absolutely shocked. No. All right, guys, we're going very close to our time. I think we've had a wonderful period of time. We've discussed this greatly. We've got a great panel. Naresh, your long hair, there's a bit of Imran Khan going on there. There's a lot of mixes going on there. I think are you going to be the leader of a country? Is that what you're telling us? I'm not sure.
No, not at all. As I said, under lockdown, I'm in Pune. We have a long lockdown. It's just a lockdown look, growing my hair.
Naresh, what I hear, Naresh, it's very, very scary in Pune. My cousin is there. She paints a very a very, very
Yeah.
scary
Yes,
picture.
it's quite bad currently in the entire state. Yeah, I think it will take another month for things to be under control. Yeah, things are
Unfortunate.
quite out of hand currently. Yeah, yeah.
That's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. All right, guys. It looks like we're all agreeing. I think, Naresh, did you say RCB was your side as well for the next game?
Yeah, RCB go in favorites tomorrow. They've got a win behind their back, and yeah, Virat Kohli, Maxwell, and ABD would be the key.
Absolutely. I think we're all in
But I would like to
unison
see
there.
Williamson play. You know, it's so unfortunate Williamson doesn't start off in the playing 11 and opens up the entire debate of playing 5 overseas players. You know, purely because how well they are packed up with good overseas batsmen. You know, so that's very unfortunate.
I think he's sitting on the sideline. He's counting his crores that the amount of money that he's earned. He needs to take time to count them because there's so many notes that he was given. It's finding it hard to go through them in time of the match. Maybe that's the reason. All right, guys.
I just can't imagine Kane Williamson sitting out.
Sitting out,
No.
yeah.
He's captain of a national team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It could say the same for Steve Smith as well. All right, guys. Once again, a wonderful afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time it is. We've had a great time. Be safe. Be happy. And for our viewers, this is Norman Kochnek here saying goodbye to Debashis, Vijay, and Naresh on a lovely afternoon. Goodbye from Xtra Time. And, of course, the Barrett Army are a major part of us as well. Thank you, guys. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Norman. Thank you, Vijay.
Thank you,
Davis.
Naresh. Thank you, Naresh. Good speaking with you. Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you very much,
everyone.
Vijay.
Thank
very
you.
much. Bye-bye.